Hello there. It is New Year's Eve. Tomorrow will be 2024. And as I've always been particularly fond of New Year's resolutions and trying to start fresh, new, good habits at this time of year, I thought I would share something with you that I have found to be enormously effective in helping me be a better student. I think it's because it helps me be a better person more than has a specific effect upon my study habits, but it's something that does impact them to a very high degree. It's a piece of advice that I'm sure is not going to be brand new to anybody, but that's the way good advice works with me. At least I need to hear it from multiple corners and multiple people, multiple times and places, then it will finally click. And so my hope is that the advice that I'm about to give you right now will click with at least some of you who are watching this, and you might start the new year with the habit of keeping let's call it a gratitude journal. Really just taking the time to think about where you are and what you're doing with your life and how you got there and the various ways that different people and events have made it possible, and to just bring to the forefront of your mind and articulate that, write that out. When you get in the habit of doing that, I think this gives just such feelings of joy and appreciation that you go about your studies or anything that you're going to do with a much lighter heart and a lighter step. And so that's just very good advice, I think, if you can put it into practice to help you start off any new endeavor that you're about to embark upon. So when we're giving thanks, we're giving gratitude, I think we tend to go first and foremost to our friends and our family and our faith, and certainly all of these things deserve recognition for putting us in the positions where we are in life. But it's also interesting to follow these sort of chains of connections and realize various people and things that you've done in the past come back and have ramifications and ripple effects, and that's always nice to tease out too. But in doing all of that, sometimes I think I at least sometimes tend to overlook some of the obvious things, some of the most patent things that deserve thanks and maybe don't get it because they are so obvious. So I'm going to talk in this video about my language academy and how grateful I am for the many ways that many different people have helped me get this lifelong dream started. But I'd like to begin by going back and giving an example of gratitude of some, again, blatantly obvious places that I'm not sure that I've ever just openly said, thank you very much for what you did for me. So I'd like to think about being in the position to open my own Academy of Languages and Letters because of being the scholar that I am, who's wanted to do something like that on sort of my own way for a long time. And how did I get to be that kind of a scholar? I wasn't just formed out of nowhere. I was formed by very specific institutions. So the first institution and organization that I would like to openly thank for helping make me the person I am is Columbia College of Columbia University in the city of New York. You are an institution that has an excellent core curriculum that enabled me to develop my sort of reading and great books type of approach, Socratic dialogue and all that kind of thing. I wanted to go to you because I knew you had that, but you also elected me. You chose me as somebody who you would bankroll to do that because, yeah, it's an expensive university, and Columbia has needs blind admission, and they will help you pay what you can't afford. So I did not need to go into debt in order to learn my love of languages and literatures, and it wasn't just an organization, an institution that did that. There were specific people. Karl Ludwig Selig, my advisor in comparative literature, and Father Michael Crimmins, advisors, people who pointed me in the direction I ended up going. So thank you all very much for that. And the direction I ended up going, another place, University of Chicago, likewise. Venerable institution of learning that opened its doors to me and said, yes, we'd like to have a young person like you come and keep being educated here, keep being formed here. And so I got to spend another handful of years more, 6, 7 years at a place, studying and learning what I wanted to learn. And again, at no real cost to me, and I just have to be inordinately thankful to an organization that will sort of foster young minds like that, and to specific individuals like Johan Kulianu, my advisor, who worked very intimately with me until his own sad demise, and then Wendy Doniger, who took me under her wing after that, and John Lindau, who from the University of California, Berkeley, who was helped me with Old Norse studies. So people at these organizations, institutions really got me on my feet. And then the third organization I'd like to thank is the Berlin Senate, which has host postdoctoral foundations for advanced German and European studies, and gave me another 2 years to study and develop my language learning habits and love of language. So these three organizations definitely got me off to a position where, then having lived an international life, that I'm grateful that I was able to go around in different countries and different places and develop more languages, I was able to concoct this idea of perhaps opening my own language and literature organization, institute, a place for continuing adult education and learning. And this is something that I've been thinking about and talking about for going on 2 decades. And when I finally decided about 2 years ago that this is something I really thought I ought to do, I would like to express my gratitude to a number of people who came out of what to me was the woodwork, but they had been following me on my old website and channels and stuff for a long time, and said that I had helped them a great deal, and now they'd like to help me get started in this type of academy. So behind the scenes, if you've seen my website, that's Chris, he designed it. And if you interact with people in the academy, Sebastian's out there with all the sort of structure, the bones of the skeleton that's keeps the organization working. And then and then if you're going to correspond with me in the academy at all, the person you're going to be corresponding with is Xing Hao, who when he first spoke to me about my ideas, has sort of read about the old vision I had for the academy that I had on my old website, in particular the idea of studying the 4 etymological sources, the source rivers of world civilization: classical Chinese, Sanskrit, Arabic, and Latin, to sort of get at the etymology of major civilizations. And he's somebody who's taken this to heart and is really pursuing this as he pursues his own doctoral studies now. So with people like that, it's not surprising that the Academy's attracted the incredible number of variety of very interesting different types of people that we have participating in the different courses. And I'd like to express my gratitude to each and every one of them. In particular, those who are sort of forming a core group. I've got a handful or two of people who are taking a handful or two of different courses, and are sort of driving the kind of offerings that the Academy is having. I conceived the Academy to deliver reading and discussion circles in foreign languages: French, German, Spanish, which I've taught as a college professor. And now people are asking for Italian. So starting next month, we're going to have an Italian circle where we're going to read Umberto Eco. He's one of my favorite authors. I've always wanted to read his novels with a group of people, and this will be a chance. But before we do that, we're going to read some of his essays that are a bit more approachable. So all sorts of different language courses that were, again, my original conception. And then likewise, I conceived of the sort of great books reading and discussion circles, and also the comparative history of religions, sort of a traditional kind of lecture course. But another kind of course that we have is in sort of English lectures, and I think the best one for anybody who's just sort of maybe approaching this sort of whole approach now is the one that I gave last year, called The Path of the Polyglot, using my manuscript of the same name, that is just designed to give you a systematic framework for how to go about devoting yourself to learning good numbers of languages over the long haul. So I'll be starting that lecture series over, and I think that would be a good place to anybody who wants to get a footwork and a footing in sort of my approach to languages couldn't do better than to start there. And just for languages, as I was saying, what people have come up with, and I'm grateful in the Academy, is a model that I hadn't thought of, which I'm going to call the sort of guided self-study, whereas everybody in the Academy is interested in autodidactic learning and has got a lot of experience in doing that, but nonetheless find that in small groups, when other people are starting at the same time, to be self-supporting and also have my sort of guidance and support has proven to be very valuable. And so again, I'm happy to see the Academy growing in the direction of those older sort of source languages, classical languages, sacred languages. We've got that going for Sanskrit and Arabic and Old Norse. And now people have asked for Koine Greek. So we're going to have a section in that, in which I can conceive of not just sort of leading it and overseeing, but really emphasizing some of the other things that are just integral to the way that I go about learning languages. We can make that sort of a shadowing workshop by shadowing good portions of text and memorization. I think memorization is a very important key towards working with sacred texts and the like. So yeah, I'm looking forward to some of the new offerings that we have, and we've got space in many of the old offerings for a person or two. So any time is a good time to join the Academy for lifelong learning and discussion. But January 1st is start of a new quarter. And again, I just want to express my gratitude for everything that's gotten me to the place where I am able to do this, and suggest to anybody who hasn't experienced the power of keeping a gratitude journal that might be a good New Year's resolution to try and start and keep as of tomorrow. Thanks for listening.